Yeah.
That's
Boom.
live.
Now we're live.
I think I got it right too.
I think
so
you got it right. I think the free was before it went
You
live.
gotta miss my little fuck up, but we just admitted to it. So shit.
Yeah.
All
That's
right,
what we do here at Chase and Shep. We just kind of are pretty consistent.
Let me stop my Thor movie real quick.
That's right. That's what we do here at Chase and Shep. See, now I thought I muted you. Why are you talking? Old YouTubes, the old tubes. It's the Chase and Shep show. It's Super Saturday.
Super Saturday. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. I just got water, but cheers. Hydrate. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Alcoholic waters. Super Saturday on Chase and Shep. It's a lit city, bro.
Feeling super duper, man. About all the super stuff that's been going on. Real hype.
I don't even know what we're gonna go in on today, but I'm hyped. I'm hyped for the Snyder Cut tomorrow.
Oh, right. The trailer dropping tomorrow. I am hyped, man. I am very excited, especially because I saw the little teaser thing for it last night, and it got me excited, man.
I saw another one. They showed some more today, and
I'm sure they did.
Batman standing on a tank.
It's gonna be crazy. That's for sure. It's gonna be nuts. It's gonna be epic. 4 hours long. I'm still hoping for that surprise reveal that IMAX theaters are gonna get it, because that would be lit.
Yeah, that would be really good. I've been waiting on this movie for a long time.
Long time.
Since Batman vs Superman came out, to be exact.
Yeah, right.
I've known that this little movie was going to peek its head eventually.
You know, I figured it would. These days, fans have quite a bit of push.
Toss it.
Toss it. Have a fucking burning party. I'll go get my copy.
Joss it. Let's toss it. That was dumb, but
toss
you know what?
Joss.
I got the dad jokes.
Joss.
I got dad jokes on lock.
Hashtag toss that Joss.
I don't know, man. Yeah,
Happy Saturday, Corey. Thanks for being here. Miss you, buddy.
Miss you, buddy. I see you every now and then. I get to see that handsome figure.
It's been a minute, at least a week,
and I enjoy it.
But man, it's just gonna be a long
like I said, I've been going through the MCU movies again.
Yeah.
We've all been slacking hard, Corey. It's no big deal. I mean, look at us here. I mean, we don't even have the banners going or nothing like that.
No.
I only know because I've been doing some lives.
I feel like my hair's looking tasty though, so I'll take that.
Mine's looking pretty red.
It's littlechaseandshep.com. What is today? Super Saturday? Well, I got one of those. Word.
I've been doing my lives, so I've been doing good. The only thing that I've been doing is I've been just into my broadcast and then being like you can hit leave studio. That's what I do. And I just leave the studio and I'm like, shit. Like not realizing that I'm live just with the black screen.
That's funny. Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah, you'll remain live if you just like right now. I think if you just left the studio, I would probably just remain live.
I don't want to test it. That's a Wednesday deal.
Look at all my sprites over here.
There's a lot of sprites. What are you, Drake? What are you? Johnny Cash is the new sponsor of Sprite.
I don't drink them all. And they get a little flat and warm, and I'm like, fuck it.
I love a good flat Sprite, though. A nice cold flat Sprite. Anyways, Super Saturday, Justice League. I'm just excited for that weekend in general. Just because, that little Thursday to Friday is going to be nice. I'll probably just I don't know. I'm not a night owl like that, but I might try to time it just right to where like I'll watch Justice League until about 2 a.m. when Falcon and Winter Soldier drops, and then watch that, and then go the fuck to sleep, and then
I
watch
mean,
it all again the next day.
that's like 11 p.m. You'd have to start it. That's not too bad.
Nah, that ain't shit. That's fine.
I mean, I'm just excited to
10,
see
10,
um
10 p.m.
oh yeah, 10. But I'm just more excited to see like the new parts of this movie we're getting, the new
Oh yeah,
story we're getting, shit like that.
watching all of these Jared Leto interviews. A few people have brought up the Joker, but not a whole lot. But just watching him talk as an actor and stuff, I'm just like, man, I can't wait to see more of his Joker, and I hope we get like something decent. You know,
I
I
mean,
like.
I've heard them allude to the fact that we do. Um, like I said, the little teaser shot they showed today, Batman, um, really shows that there's a new scene altogether
Yeah,
with just him. Nobody knows really what the fuck's going on in it, what he's really doing. They assume the theory is that he's finding a parademon nest all on his own, and that's like when he finds it at the beginning of the movie by himself, and he's like, "Oh shit, I need the Justice League."
better than the fucking opening scene of the Justice League. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I was hyped when it came out, and then you go see it in theaters, and I wanted to like it.
Yeah, that's how I've said it before. That's how I was when Green Lantern came out. Like I really wanted to like it. I really did. It was
Mhm.
fucking hard. So that's for me. I know you're pretty stoked for Martian Manhunter, but I'm pretty. I'm a big Green Lantern fan, so I'm looking forward to the old Green Lanterns showing up.
Yeah, seeing more of that, yeah, because I think that has been a confirmed show on the DC side, Green Lantern Corp,
Yeah,
that will eventually come. So I'd like to see them in that, kind of start rebranding, redemption for the character. Because even though Ryan Reynolds' movies got shit on, I think it was just because of the time it came out and what other content was out at the time. I
yeah.
think if you would have dropped his Green Lantern during Batman and Robin being out in
Oh
theaters,
well, yeah. I would have given you like the early 2000 like Marvel movies and stuff. Like
yeah,
any,
even with
I'd say
X-Men.
pre Iron Man, like pre 2008, because that's what also that 2008 was the year that Iron Man and The Dark Knight came out and changed superhero cinema
Well, so then I would
as
say,
we know it.
I would say Batman Begins, really. Then,
I mean, Batman Begins sort of started, but Dark Knight took it to. I mean, that's when it exploded as a cultural
well,
thing.
but
You
like
know,
Batman Begins blew my fucking mind when I
I
first
mean,
saw that.
yeah. Even
I
my
didn't
dad
even
was saying
know.
earlier that Christian Bale is the best Batman. Which,
Well, I didn't even know that that was a movie. Like, I'll never forget that time. Because I believe it came out when I was 18,
yeah,
and I was living life doing my thing, brother. I didn't know that this was even a fucking movie. So my buddies was like, "Yo, Batman Begins comes out," and I was like, "What?" And they're like, "Batman Begins," and I was like, again, he's beginning again, and they're like, "Yeah, like it's like Batman's starting and shit." And I was like, "All right." So we rolled this big old joint, you know what I'm saying? We call it a Batman joint, and
Bat joint.
smoked it on the way there, bro. And like, I'll tell you though, when we were watching that shit, that end scene when the whole city's hallucinating because they got the scare toxins in
Yeah,
them,
yeah,
and
yeah.
Batman's flying over and he's got like that fucking demon face and shit. I was like, yo, this is lit as fuck. Like, hell yeah, Batman's back, bitch. Like, I'm with it.
Right, yeah.
That's when I was like, all right, this movie. And I thought as far as the superhero movies we've had, I thought that was like Batman Begins was a redemption back to Batman, because I do think that there is a lot
Oh,
of
for sure.
kind of fucked up, kind of scary scenes within that movie,
Yeah.
especially
Yeah,
like
I
with
mean, that definitely changed things for Batman for sure. That
well,
whole
the
trilogy was really bad.
Scarecrow had bugs coming up out of his face and shit, and then you had the Batman.
I mean, The Dark Knight is, to my knowledge, the only like Academy. Well, I won't say it's the only Academy Award winning superhero movie, but it's like the only Academy Award winning superhero movie because of like acting or something and not visual effects. You know, like it's something that's like more prestigious that like movies like this don't even get considered for. And it won. It won. Heath Ledger won a fucking award for playing the Joker. Actually, it's happened 2 times. It's happened 2 fucking times. So I mean, Batman stuff, it's prestigious stuff. I've heard actors kind of talking about playing Batman and the Joker, and they compare specifically those 2 characters and more like DC characters. They compare it to doing like Shakespeare in theater and stuff. How like so
Oh
many
yeah.
people have so many different interpretations of Shakespeare, and to most actors, Batman and the Joker are up there in like, you know, like Shakespearean, like, oh yes, like these are characters that I want to play as an actor.
Well,
It's
like
like,
Romeo
well,
and
yeah,
Juliet
like
type thing, yeah. Like
yeah,
deep
exactly.
level. Like you made it if someone comes to you and is like, "Yo, I want you to play the Batman in this new movie." I'd be like, "Fuck!"
Of
Like
course. Of course.
if they asked me, I'd be like, "Hell yeah!" I'd be on board in a second. I have to do a lot of working out, but I feel
Right.
like they'd pump me enough money that I wouldn't have to have a job to where I could do a lot of working out. So I
You
feel
know,
like it would work out for me.
you know, I think about it all the time. You know, with wanting to do movies and stuff, like and loving the superhero genre. Like I think about it all the time. Like if I could play a superhero, like who would it be? And I got nothing. Like I've got no idea, dude. I've got no idea who I could pull off. I guess in the superhero in the comic book world.
I feel like if I was gonna like right now, if I was gonna try to go as somebody, like dress up and like maybe try to make it a little convincing looking, I
Right.
would have to go with somebody like Gambit.
Okay. Word.
Because with the chest plate and stuff that's all up over him, you could hide the rolls in the chub, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Make it look like you got. So you would like need somebody like that. It would really depend on the material, the costume you used. He's like you could really go as anybody.
Well, I'm saying like if I was to get cast in like a Marvel movie, you know what I mean? Like, and I had to get like in shape and shit for it. Like, you know, I just don't know who I'd want to play. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know. I always come back to Spidey, but the thing is, like, who the fuck doesn't want to be Spider Man? You know, Donald Glover said the same thing. He's like, who doesn't want to be Spider Man? And that's just true facts. You know, and with the Spider Verse, shit. Like I said, if anything, right now, Golden Sponge Cake Spider Man. I know he looks like regular Peter Parker, but you could give him some roles, bro. You could give him a little dad bod action.
I don't even know, man. Like this now you got me thinking like if I don't even know.
It's like tough. Like I don't know what character I would genuinely be like.
I feel
Fuck
like
yes, like
I'd
fuck
more
yes, I want to.
well, I'd more so probably feel like I'd be more casted as a villain.
Actually, I was just getting ready to say the one comic book character that I would genuinely like to do, like as an actor, is the Riddler. But I would love to do a different take on the Riddler. Like, you know, just because you do always see him as like such a wiry guy with like a nasally voice sort of thing. Like I love this idea of making him like, you know, like a burlier guy like myself, you know, and with the deeper voice and everything.
I'd like to play the Mad Hatter.
Oh, word, word.
Yeah, if we're gonna throw people like that out, man, like I'd like that too. I think right now if I was gonna get casted as somebody that like they was like you're filming in like a
Hey, yo,
month,
James Gunn, where's that?
I could do a Mad Hatter.
Where's that Mad Hatter for Shep?
I mean, like I gotcha. Be like run, Alice. You never get down the rabbit hole. I don't even know what the fuck he says. I'm just guessing.
Riddle me this, riddle me that.
Or you
Who's
know what?
behind the
You know,
big
like
black?
I'd have to be a CGI character. Like cast me a Swamp Thing.
See, I could fuck with Swamp Thing. That would be kind of dope to play Swamp Thing, but I wouldn't be like, it's not something I'd be like passionate about. Like, oh, I grew up loving Swamp Thing, so let me play Swamp Thing. You know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't be nothing like that.
I did grow up loving Swamp Thing, so I would be like, fuck, oh fuck yeah.
But I
If
still
someone
think
came
it
up,
would be cool to play Swamp Thing.
to me and was like, yo, you're gonna play Swamp Thing. I'm like,
Actually,
like, to be honest, I don't think it would really matter what hero or villain it would be. If somebody came up
oh
to me and
yeah,
was like, I want you to play this in this DC
that's
or
kind
this,
of what
this
I.
Marvel,
That's the
I'm gonna be
conclusion I come to every time I think about this stuff, like on my own. If I'm just sitting around thinking about this stuff, I'm like, man, who would I want to play? Like, what movie would I want to do? Honestly, if somebody just came up and asked, would you play this character, bitch? I'm gonna read every comic. I'm gonna read up on this thing. I'm like, yes, fucking yes, I will do this.
they could literally cast me as my least favorite, and I'd still be like,
Motherfuckers are out there playing Polka Dot Man this year, so I don't give a shit. I will say yes. Uh, Actually, though, you know, one that would actually probably be really dope uh, is Johnny Storm. It'd be pretty dope to be the Human Torch. I would fuck with that pretty hard.
flame on.
Just because he's like, I don't know, from an actor's point of view, there's a lot there you could work with because he's just such a hothead, and you know, there's a lot.
I would like to play somebody like Nightcrawler.
I can't do the German accent, so I'm probably
I
out.
can't either, but I feel like
But I
if
love
I had a
Nightcrawler.
code,
I would love to be Nightcrawler for Halloween some year. That would be fucking lit.
I need to get through.
It would be
need to
fucking sick, Corey.
Uh,
Oh, in some sad news, in
Who's the
some
wall?
sad super news, my Philip and I's dream of making a live action Powerpuff Girls movie may have been dashed by the Warner Brothers because they're making a live action Powerpuff Girls TV show on the CW. I'm disgusted. I'm fucking livid.
It's different.
I'm livid. They didn't hear our version, so I don't understand why they moved forward with this when they haven't heard the best pitch yet. I'm telling you, I'm gonna still make it happen one of these days. I'm gonna ride the success of that CW show.
I'm still
Be like,
really
thank you for casting my Powerpuff Girls. Now I gotta go make this dope ass movie.
well. I'm still really mad they never fucking decided to go with Jason David Frank's idea for a new Power Rangers movie. I think or TV
Oh,
show.
the like the darker one.
Yeah, where he's like Lord Dracu or some shit, and he's trying to take over all of the Power Ranger shit. That
I'd
shit
watch
would be lit.
I'd watch
That
it.
shit would be lit.
Honestly, I feel like because that last Power Rangers movie that they made, you know what? I'm gonna say this: for as much superhero shit as we talk, like not just on Super Saturdays, but like in our day to day lives, the superhero conversations we have, I don't think Power Rangers is getting brought up enough. I think Power Rangers should get their shout out because they were big for me as a kid. And I
The
know
helmet's right back
we
there.
maybe talked about this like last week or something.
I brought the
I know
helmet up.
yeah, that's right. I was like, I knew Power Rangers got brought up recently, but Power Rangers were lit, man. When I was a kid, like Power Rangers, TMNT, and X-Men, bro. Like those '90s cartoons. It's definitely where it was at.
I never understood really like when they went to like Power Rangers Turbo. I was like, why? You
Yeah,
know,
I was like,
why ruin it? Good, you
Yeah, I
know.
was like, I don't get this, man. I didn't. As it started to progress, and as I got older, you know, like I was just like, whatever. I'll still fuck with like the old ones that I grew up watching, and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie, that was the shit. And I even got to give mad props to the Power Rangers movie that came out in like 2016 because that shit was
That
lit.
was good. That was good. I liked it.
It was actually a really good movie, and I was shocked. Like I was,
I wanted to see the sequel where they would bring Tommy in and shit like that.
I
Like
still hope it happens, man. I feel like I heard something about it recently, so I'm hoping it still happens because that was probably the closest thing we've gotten to like a Power Rangers movie made more so for us. Like I feel like we haven't really got that other than that movie, and that was pretty solid. Like for us, for the adult crowd that grew up with Power Rangers, that movie was pretty good. Like all things considered, I feel like we lucked out as Power Rangers fans. It was legitimately like you were saying about Batman Begins. There was like some fucking scary moments. like especially with Elizabeth Banks, like villain. Like she was a scary bitch. She was pretty terrifying. I was like, these Power Rangers got their work cut out for them. And the Blue Ranger was autistic this time around.
No, I thought it was
I'm
a
like, how inclusive.
yeah, no, I thought it was a really fucking dope take on the Power Rangers and a nice way to reboot the whole series. I wish they would have
I
kept
might watch
going.
Power Rangers tonight now. I don't know.
Well, dude, the thing that I love about it is like the movie we had when we was kids, Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie.
Right.
I at
Classic.
some point I went back and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna rewatch Power Rangers series. You know, well, they actually do the movie in the series, basically.
Really?
Yeah, like that all happens. Like they get those because like at the time they were just taking what was happening overseas. They would film a series overseas, and then the next year they'd take it and be like, all right, we're gonna make a new
Right.
series, Power Rangers out of it. Well, when it came to like, step them up, that's what they did in the Japan series is gave them new robots and shit. So that's like, well, we need a reason. It's not quite the same on the show as the movie, but like Ivan Ooze ain't on the show.
Yeah. Too bad.
Yeah.
I'm missing out. Too bad.
But they do, I believe they do get the ninja Zords and the ninja powers and shit on the show, and then they have those for a while. And then I do remember they came out with Power Rangers Turbo, the movie.
That one I didn't catch. That was after.
I remember that as a kid, kind of like that. I was barely, I was getting to be a little bit too old for the shit. And I just remember because like that's where they got a little fucky because they decided they were going to put a little kid as a Power Ranger. But when he morphs, he becomes the size as the rest of them. Yes.
Dumb.
Yeah.
Fucking dumb. Over
and
it.
It's like the whole gist of like the movie was like, because I'm pretty sure Tommy was still around and a few of the OG, but like Jason and Kimberly get like kidnapped and they gotta go like save them and shit like that. So it's like they try to tie it into the original.
Yeah.
And like I still remember the shit like, and then they had Zeo. I remember they went Power Rangers Zeo after a while.
God, man, you stuck with it for a while because I was like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and that was it.
Only because I believe in Power Rangers Zeo, Jason came back maybe, and he was the Black Ranger, and I was like, that is fucking dope, man. And that's where I fell off, like keeping up and watching and shit. Is around there. They went off the chain though, because my son got into it for a while. So like when he got into it, that's when I went back in like, fuck it, I'm gonna watch this shit. Like you're into it, okay. And that's when I was like seeing like Power Rangers Dino and Power Rangers PE and shit like that. I'm like, nah. Power Rangers in space. I'm like, nah. But like they do have some like really fucking good episodes. If you do watch the TV show, like on the newer ones, like they have one where like all of the Red Rangers have to team up together. So like, Tommy's back, and then they're like, I don't think he'll show up and shit. And then like fucking Jason shows up, and they're all like, oh, the original Red Ranger. It's fucking Jason.
See, I'd fuck around and be in a Power Rangers movie. That'd be dope as fuck. Or even to direct a Power Rangers movie would actually be pretty lit.
Fuck, I'd be Skull, like Bulk and Skull. I'd be like, fucking don't give a shit.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I feel like most of the superhero stuff that I do want to like make like direct and act in and stuff like that isn't actually like Marvel DC stuff. It's usually like fringe superheroes like the Powerpuff Girls and fucking.
You know what I think should get like remade like right now that I think would be like maybe a pretty big hit?
What?
Captain Planet.
Yeah, they kind of fucked around with that a little bit like a few years ago with Don Cheadle. And they kept releasing those videos of him as Captain Planet.
That was funny.
A few of them. Yeah, I know. But no, I do hear what you're saying. That would actually be pretty
like
dope,
a live action,
right?
A live action Captain Planet reboot.
I would fuck around and do Danny Phantom. I don't know if Danny Phantom was after your time or not, but
I remember Danny Phantom enough.
Danny Phantom was my shit. Uh, that one would be a lot of fun. And actually, it's funny because again, being a Marvel guy, like it's hard for me to pick like who I'd want to portray in a Marvel thing, but I have more DC. Like I'd play Robin. Fuck it, Robin's actually pretty cool. Like I don't give a shit. I don't need to be Batman. I actually find Robin pretty intriguing for the most part.
Well, with like I said, with who they got left in Marvel that hasn't been casted and shit like that, like easily any of the X-Men, Beast. I'd love to play Beast. I'd be like, hell
I feel
yeah.
like I could play Beast. I actually feel like that's one I could do just because I'm a big hairy motherfucker to begin with. Like it'd be pretty easy. Plus with the glasses, I can play smart pretty well. Actually,
I'd love to play Angel, but only like if they cast me, like if they sat me down, it's like, yo, we want you to play Angel. I'd be like, only okay on one condition, and that's two, and that's that at some point I become the Archangel with the fucking metal wings.
Yeah.
And when I do, I turn blue with blonde hair, because that's the only thing that bothered me about X-Men Apocalypse is that like when he becomes Archangel, he doesn't turn that iconic, in my opinion, blue. You know what I mean? Like that is what I loved about that dude. The blue and the blonde hair, and he's like blue and pink his suit. I was like, man, as a kid, I was like, Archangel's that shit, dude.
One I actually think in Marvel that would be a lot of fun to do is Ghost Rider. I think Ghost Rider would be a lot of fun to do.
Iceman, I'd like to. I think that he'd be fun. I'll freeze you, mother.
Definitely.
Pretty much any of the X-Men, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, really. Again, it's one of those things that if they approach me and we're like, "Hey, will you do this, that, the other?" Fucking, of course I will.
They asked me to do Wolverine, I'd shrug and be like, "I guess if you really want me to do Wolverine." But
honestly,
I don't know.
I think I could do it. I think if I committed to the Hugh Jackman workout regimen, I could be trying to fit.
Help!
I'm young. I can do this for a little while. Somebody needs to step up. I'm hairy as fuck, bro. Like, let me use this. Let me not be hairy my whole life for nothing. Hashtag chase for Wolverine.
Trying to think of who we haven't seen.
Yeah, besides the X-Men and the Fantastic Four. Probably so many. Probably so many.
There is, but like none that like off the top of the dome.
Right.
Just like hit like, oh, this motherfucker's still out there.
I feel like it's one of those things that like I could go digging and find some off the wall character that I've never even heard of and be like, yeah, this is the one. This is it. Actually, when I was playing Borderlands the other day, I'm listening to them talk because they're making the Borderlands movie right now. And the cast is stacking up nicely. They got Cate Blanchett, Kevin Hart, Jack Black, and Jamie Lee Curtis in it right now. I'm like, all right, I'm listening. But I'm like, I feel like that would be a fun franchise to be in, just because everybody's a bunch of like smart ass, like badasses essentially. Well, yeah, that sounds like a fun little world to play in.
That would be pretty fun, man.
Or the Guardians world.
I hope they at some point bring back making some Resident Evil movies and shit.
They are. They're actually rebooting the series. So like somebody other than Paul Thomas Anderson is finally making these. So it'll be interesting because I think they're actually basing it more around like the first game. So I'm intrigued to see what they do this time around. Because don't get me wrong, I love the Resident Evil movies. Like they're a guilty pleasure for sure. But I'd be curious to see what Resident Evil movies that are more faithful to the games look like. I mean,
yeah, if they throw a scary Resident Evil movie out that the first one's cops trapped in a mansion trying to figure out how to get out and at the end face a fucking tyrant, I would lose my shit.
Yeah, I mean, from what I heard last, I'm pretty sure that's what they were going for. I hope so. I hope so. I know one trailer that has not dropped yet that I'm like fucking just surprised hasn't dropped yet is Mortal Kombat. Like they keep showing little snippets of it in this HBO Max like
Yeah,
reel.
I've seen what you're saying. Yeah, I
Man,
like Iceman sword.
just Sub-Zero fight. I'm excited. I am excited for Mortal Kombat.
I like the movie as a kid.
I actually watched the movie, the original movie, last April when I was watching all the Resident Evil movies because the same guy directed the original Mortal Kombat, and did not mind it, man. I was like, this is fine. Like it's one of those things that you either dig this guy or you don't. And I think I said Paul Thomas Anderson earlier. That's not who directed that. That's an entirely different director. He directs very different movies, very similar names. Paul W.S. Anderson is the guy who directed fucking Resident Evil. Yeah. All these Paul Andersons running around Hollywood. It's hard to keep
mean,
straight.
they threw a little mansion in it, but not enough.
They did. They were like, that's the thing, like where people like really hate the Resident Evil movies, like that were like Resident Evil fans, is they wanted it to be more faithful to the games, and it just it is what it is. It's not. It's its own thing. Same with like the Marvel movies. Like if you go into it thinking it's going to be faithful to the comics to the T all the time, that's not what this is. Like it's its own thing. Like
DC is definitely its own thing.
DC's a shit show. DC's a mess. DC's trying to figure itself out, and hopefully they'll get back on the track here in a month. I think approximately a month from today, or tomorrow, in fact. Hashtag toss the Joss. That's our time.
Toss the Joss, baby. Hashtag like, subscribe. Corey, we love you.
Love you, Corey. I think he left already, but still,
Fuck.
Run it back, Corey. You'll see it. Peace.